Hello Internet, I'm Ellie the Purple Argoofus and welcome to Buddy Reads, where I read a small selection of a book and review it for you. Today we are covering chapters 13, 14, and 15 of Artemis by Andy Weir. I hope you've read up to that point because I do not want to ruin anything for you. Now this section has Jazz and Dale and they are suiting up and they are getting ready to burrow into the factory. They are in their little apartment, they're getting into their space suits. And Jazz is getting ready to cut her way from the shelter that they've brought into the oxygen line, which will then lead her into the factory. And I won't go into particulars because this chapter really feels more like Andy Weir is just kind of showing off his scientific know-how and how space might work. So basically, she cuts a hole, she puts a barrier down, she cuts another hole and puts another barrier down and creates a little fire safety room for herself and Dale. She strips down to a jumpsuit because she's like, boy, it's cold. Dale gives her his jumpsuit and he stays in the spacesuit. And she's like, are you going to tail me the entire way? And he's like, you better believe I'm going to tail you the entire way because this is incredibly dangerous. And if anything happens to you, your father's going to kill me. So I'm going to be right on you. And she's like, okay. They cut their way into the oxygen line and they are getting ready to cut their way into the factory. Dale reminds her that well, they might be a little bit off time right now. And she says, I know, I'm hurrying as fast as I can. Her father is over the intercom reminding her how to weld. And she's like, come on, Dad, I know this. And he's like, no, you have to do it twice. You have to do it super, super well. You have to do it so good because if you mess up, you're going to die. So do what I tell you. And she's like, fine. She does what he tells him and she actually does an incredible job. And by the time she's done, her dad is like, that is amazing. You could be doing this for a lifetime. She's like, Dad, I know, but man, you were so good at this. She's getting closer and closer to getting into the factory and they message Bob. Bob actually stalls factory workers from getting to the factory. The other factory workers are going to the train. So they're all kind of amassed in the lobby area while Jazz sneaks in. While they're all getting to the lobby area, she recognizes one of the people there as Loretta Sanchez, the owner of all of this. And she's like, what is she doing slumming it with all these people? It's not like she kind of owns the place. And she's like, yeah, she kind of does. Jazz starts working on the smelter. She starts doing her thing. And what she actually does is she basically puts metal over the end of the exhaust so it builds up pressure. So it's getting ready to be more and more heated. So it all just kind of melts all around her. And so she welds that over. And she realizes that the temperature is rising much too quickly. So she runs back to her hole. Dale is on the other side. He's like, great job. Let's go. Jazz looks back to check and make sure everything's okay. She sees a little silhouette moving. She's like, what the hell? What the hell? There's someone in there. And Dale's like, I don't care. Let's go. He's looking through the little hole and she's like, oh man, that's Loretta. And Dale is like, really don't care right now. We need to get out of here. And Jazz says, hold on 1 second. And she barrels herself out of the hole and goes after Loretta. Jazz runs up to Loretta and she says, okay, I have no time to explain this right now, but we have to get out of here right now. And Loretta says, who the hell are you? And she says, I told you, I don't have any time to explain. We have to get out of here. And she says, I'm not going anywhere. And she's like, why are you walking around here right now like you own the place? And she's like, because I do own the place. They get into such a heated argument and Jazz says, look, I don't have time to explain everything right now. The thing is, I've rigged your machine to blow up. And if you're still here when it blows up, you are going to die. I do not want that. I don't think you want that either. So you need to come with me. And Loretta says, no, I can fix it. And Loretta and Jazz have a zero gravity space fight. And it's kind of awesome. Jazz eventually gets Loretta back to the hole, shoves her in there and, dives in after her, seals up the room as best as she can. And they go back out to their little vehicle. They jump in and they're driving away and Jazz is looking over her shoulder. She's like, hold on, wait a second. And they have difficulty trying to get out of the little compartment. There's a moment where she tries to drive over an uninflatable habitat or whatever and it bounces them back. And then she's like, oh, that was a terrible idea. Why did you let me do that? And everyone's like looking at her like we didn't. And then she just kind of goes around it. Look, I'm getting a lot wrong right now. I hope you've read this part because it's very entertaining, very action-packed. But if I were to try and explain every tiny little detail, I know I would get so much wrong. They drive away just as the plant explodes and everything goes kabooey. They don't actually hear the sound because there's no oxygen for the sound to travel through, but they feel the vibrations. Boy, that was loud. There's like a whole paragraph and a half about how loud it was. They try and call other people to figure out, hey, how loud was that? Is everything okay still? What's going on? They're calling back to her dad. They're calling back to other people. They even got in contact with a couple of Eva people that are guarding a harvest way out in the middle of nowhere. But when they're trying to call their own people, no one's answering. And even Loretta calls someone because there's a moment where she picks up the phone to call someone and Jazz tries to wrestle the phone away from her. And Dale just kind of looks over at them and he says, "Look, ladies, I'm too gay to enjoy this. So stop that." Loretta eventually tries to call her own people and no one's answering. And they're like, what the hell is going on? And then they look over at all of the workers in the train station and they find that they're all just lying on the floor motionless. And everyone's like, what the fuck? And Loretta's like looking at him. She's like, oh my God, they're all dead. You've killed all my people. Jazz is like, no, I couldn't have killed them all. We didn't do anything that would make him killed. No, this is not what happened. This is not what we intended to do. I swear, we didn't mean to do this. And then they're looking really close and they see one of the stomachs kind of go up and down. They're like, look, that one's breathing. I see movement. They're not really moving around, but they're not dead. They're just passed out. Jazz says, how in the world did this happen? And Loretta says, well, you blew up our oxygen supply. And she's like, no, you have safety protocols. You have plenty of safety protocols. People have plenty of oxygen that could go pumped into that area. What is going on right now? Then they work out that all of the chemicals that had exploded had gone into the oxygen line, which had gone into Artemis. What all of those chemicals had become when they exploded was chloroform. So essentially, Jazz and Dale chloroformed the entire population of Artemis. And Dale's like, well, thank God, they're just chloroform. Loretta says, no, you don't understand. Chloroform will kill you. It's not just a simple little anesthetic. The more that you use, the worse it gets. I give these people like an hour before they're all dead. Jazz says, well, crap. They say, okay, we need to get back to Artemis and we need to fix everything. So they drive back to Artemis and they get into one of the airlocks and they realize that they can't get into the city because they're not on the inside to deactivate the airlock. Jazz does something really stupid and she runs away from the vehicle. And Dale and Loretta are like, what are you doing? She's like, just cut my line, set me free. And they're like, you're insane. And Jazz actually starts breaking into Artemis through an airlock. When she does, the air from the airlock actually siphons into the vehicle with Dale and Loretta. And so Jazz is there with her oxygen mask and inside one of the airlocks while the chloroform knocks out Dale and Loretta. So it's up to Jazz to wake up all of Artemis by herself. And that's where the section ends. I was a little worried. Everything was wrapping up a little too quickly. And I was like, we still have like 30 or 40 pages left. What are they going to talk about for 30 or 40 pages if everything wraps up so quickly? And now, all of Artemis is almost about to die. The climax that I thought it was just like the fake peak before you climb up the mountain even higher. Next video, we finish this book and we'll see how Jazz fixes things. She's got to fix things, right? It's not that one of those kinds of books, is it? That would be terrible. Please don't be one of those kinds of books. Please, 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 please. If you like what I'm doing, go ahead and click the subscribe button. If you like this video specifically, go ahead and click that like button. And go ahead and leave a comment letting me know what's the last fake climax that you've ever encountered. I've been Elliot the Purple Ear Doofus. This has been Buddy Reads, reminding you to watch your pajama radius. And I will see you all in the finale of Artemis by Andy Weir. Toodles!